Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we are back with another episode of Fire Force, episode 6. Last time on Fire Force, our team made a brash move to attack the 5th company. I'm wondering how this will work out. I don't think it's going to work out in their favor very much because, first off, is it that I imagine there is some way to prevent these companies from attacking each other. I don't think it's as simple as just attacking and there will be no repercussions for your actions, right? Um, the way Obi explained it is that once they find whatever research you're looking for, they will use that and take that to the higher ups. But I don't see why he thinks that would work because Hinawa said last episode that the only reason she became captain, she rose through the ranks pretty quickly. That was because of the research that she presented to them. And if that's the case, then they're already aware that she's doing some pretty shady experiments to get those results. So I'm not quite sure what he expects to accomplish with this, though, unless he discovers so something so far out there that it's hard for them to cover up or ignore, right? Um, but we'll see. We'll see. We got a bit of a backstory for her and Iris. It seems they were from the same church, wherever these sisters are trained, and it seemed as though she was one of the good guys, and then she discovered something, and it changed her view completely. And I'm guessing that is that both the church, the army, and the Hajime Industries, she discovered they're all aware of what is turning the infernals, and they choose to ignore it, and so she felt it was pointless to be a sister. And at this stage, I'm guessing, I don't know, the sisters, their job is something of a facade, really. It's just to keep people calm and reassure people that everything is fine when it's really not. And so a lot of the bad guys that we've been introduced to so far are really not bad guys. They were good guys. And I think this applies to the Joker as well. They were good, but then they discovered the truth and they decided to do something about it. Not so. I guess we'll see how that plays out for Hibana. Yeah. But Shinra is there now. I imagine he's gonna be the one to take her on. I do wish it was Obi because he's a captain, and I know while we every time we see him training, right? Because he's the only normal person on the team. But even though he's a leader, at some point he needs to lead in the field as well. And it would be good to see how he measures up against an actual captain as well. So I would want to see him go up against Hibana. And in truth, because she's a second generation, I don't think they put him too much at a disadvantage because he has no flames for her to control. She could very well create her not create her own through some weaponry, which I'm guessing is what happens with the fan that she kept using that had flames on it because she's second generation, so she shouldn't be able to create the flames. But when she had the fans, they had flames on them for some odd reason. But her ability seems to be focused mostly on dampening the fire from others. That she did with Shinra. She didn't just put out his fire; she took his energy. It felt like. So I'm not quite sure how Shinra is going to measure up against again this time around. We didn't see Obi at all last episode, so I'm hoping that we do see him this episode, or maybe Shinra loses and he has to step in to save him, whatever the case might be. But last episode, my now favorite character Hinawa showcased his ability to control bullet trajectory. I am wondering though, for these second generations, are they all capable of controlling flames, or do they specialize in these areas because that is all they can actually do? So can Hinawa control trajectory but also control flames the way Maki does, or is he just limited to just weapons? And if that's the case, what does he do when he eventually runs out of ammunition? That would put him as one of the long range fighters, and maybe he doesn't do very well in close quarters combat. So I that's one of the few things that I want them to develop a bit more in the series. They don't do a great job fleshing out how the abilities work and how they impact the world here, right? I mentioned the same thing before a few episodes ago about Shinra having super strength because he can kick motor vehicles like they were football. And is that a byproduct of his ability, or is it just an anime thing where, okay, he can shoot flames so he can just kick a car? And is that going to be consistent, or is it just that for that one time? So they haven't been consistent with that, and it's something that I hope they do address going forward. So, final showdown. I don't see this turning out favorably for the team, if only because I believe the three arms, the church, the army, and Hajima Industries, I believe they are aware of whatever is happening at the fifth lab, and they chose to ignore it. So I don't think this is going to work out very well for our team, but it may just open their eyes a bit, because I don't believe they know the threat is as big as it actually is. The corruption goes far up, and this may open their eyes a bit, to know who they can and can't go against right now. Right? Alright guys, episode 6. I mean, I do wonder whether she actually became captain. She became captain because of her research, not necessarily because of how strong she was. So maybe she's not that strong.
Hero 登場だ。
まずはあいつから焼いてやる。そこで見ていろ。シンラさん逃げて。いくらシンラさんでも大隊長には勝てっこない。
大丈夫です、シスター。この前のようにはいかねえぞ。
ジャーリー、忘れたわけではないだろう。
That can't be a third generation ability, is it?
またすぐ叱れる。やはりお前はジャリだ。
めまいが。
熱失神だ。
No willpower.
今、お前の体は私が送った熱で覆われている。
何？
その熱で血管を広げ、血圧を下げ、脳への血液量が急激に減り。
なんだ。だったら勘違いみたいなもんじゃねえか。
勘違いなものか。現にふらついているではないか。
動機息切れめまいはどれも勘違いだろうが。
やさ。
今実際勘違いでめまいが起きているんだ。勘違いでヒーローにもなれんだろ。
バカな。立っていられるはずは。まあいい。無抵抗の相手を焼いてもつまらん。クレマチス。我が灼熱の花に込まれ散るがいい。姉さん、まだそんなことを。黙って見ていろ。
そうだな、今夜は。勘違いお姉さんの目を覚まさせるマンだ。
私が勘違いをしているだって。
さあな、そんな風に見えただけだ。
ふざけるんじゃないよ。
Starting to like her more and more. At first, I honestly thought she was just, it was just research that got her position. She was just a pretty face, but she's pretty badass.
その程度で何がヒーローだ。情けないお前のために少し目を覚まさせてやろう。
That's one of the good things. She's going to become a good guy.
Sakura!
It's like the Bankai from Bleach. Except he's burnt.
もうがけ踊れ。もうやめて、姉さん。やめてほしければ祈ればいい。神に。分かっているだろう。
Yeah, he's not gonna beat her. She's gonna talk her down. I wanted to see her go all out, but hey.
神に身を捧げる毎日。私はそんな
I'm
中
guessing
で
the church did
唯
something
一不真面目
unforgivable
だっ
to
た
make her
よ。
go
そ
that
して
far.
あの日、シスターたちが急に燃えた。私とアイリス以外全員、みんな私より経験に神に尽くした修道女だった。わかるだろう。人は報われない。こうして生きている私の存在こそがな。
プリンセスヒバナ、あんたも炎の被害者なんだな。
まだいたかエセヒーロー。
あんたの気持ち少しはわかるよ。俺も炎に人生を狂わされた一人だからな。
桜吹雪。
Where the hell is Obi?
今度こそジャリラとジベタにリレーせ。
倒れるわけにはいかねえ。
熱失神だぞ。
俺は何度でも立ち上がるし、何度でも倒れねえ。あなたのために。
Yeah,
何を言
he's
って
gonna
い
save
る。
her
お
from
かし
herself.
くなったか。
いいか、今
口張ってろ。何も知らないジャリがざれ言ばかり。人の身を焼く炎もあれば、人を導く光や人を温める炎もあるんです。この世にヒーローなんてものはいない。
この世にヒーローがいねえから。俺は勘違いお姉さんの目を覚まさせるの。
I don't know. Started saying he's as strong as a captain now. Why not Iris though? Why did she live? I can understand maybe they wanted Ibana for her abilities.
危ないよ。花の形にしてあるけど炎なんだからやけどする。こら、シスター火花。またお花見せてほしいです。その引っ込み思案を直したら見せてやるよ。
Oh, that didn't work. She's still shy.
炎なんて綺麗なものか。
Smiling like Shinra was, or does now.
行こう。逃げないと私たちも焼けてしまう。炎は悪魔そのものじゃないか。その力が使える私は悪魔は悪魔らしく。
I don't know. If I had her ability, I'd do the same thing. I'd use my powers to be as wealthy and powerful as possible. Yeah, given how strong she is, I don't see why she'd even need to bribe them in the first place.
なんでだ。身寄りのない修道院のみんなにとって姉さんは憧れでした。美人で頭も良くて炎を操れて。私には誰もいなかった。支えになっていたのは炎だけ。だがそれにも裏切られた。私には何もなくなった。
I guess there's no point in Obi showing up now. That was a little bit underwhelming, to be honest.
ヒーローならここにいるぜ。空に向かって俺の名を叫べ。いつでも俺が助けてやる。
バカなことを。だいたいお前が私を助け。 どっちにしろ私の負けだ。これ以上戦うつもりはない。
引っ込み思案少しは治ったかしら。
まったくアイリスはそんな約束していたな。
これは
ああ、アイリスだよ。
Nice.
レイさん大好き。
Alright guys, there we have it, episode 6 of Fire Force. My first impressions, I couldn't help but notice the similarities with, I keep forgetting his name, the captain from Bleach that uses his Bankai are Sakura Pestle, similar to what Hibana uses here. It reminded me a lot of Bleach. And her abilities, apart from being beautiful, is powerful. Absolutely loved her in this episode. Before this episode, I thought she was just a sort of a face. She used her research to rise through the ranks, so I thought maybe she wasn't as powerful as the other captains, but she proved herself to be quite powerful. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. It was very brief though. It was a very short episode, and not a lot happened in the way of moving the story along. Right, so not a whole lot happened. We didn't see any other character except Shinra, Aris, and Hibana. Where's Obi? I kept saying where's Obi, because I thought, this was his plan, and I guess Hibana is now on their side. I kind of expected it, because last episode when Aris arrived there, she could have attacked her, she could have burned her, but she chose to just burn her clothes, and then she gave her her jacket to cover up. So I figured more or less something tragic happened to drive her to this stage, but I guess she's an ally now, and they won't need to fight for the research. She might just share it with them. I do have a gripe. I don't know. I've watched a lot of shonen anime, so I did expect at some point this particular moment where the protagonist uses sheer willpower to overcome his opponent. But that typically happens much later in the anime, right? Take Hunter x Hunter, for example. This would be the equivalent of Gon going up against Hisoka and defeating Hisoka the very first time that he encountered him, or the second time, or the third. He didn't. He kept losing, and he had to train several times over and over, and even then he was only able to punch him in the face, and then he has to go and train over and over and over again just to. You get what I'm saying, right? So this kind of took away from the episode for me, and the anime to some extent, because it now removes the power scale that they've spent several episodes developing and building, right? When a rookie can just take on a captain and completely defeat her, right? Because here, not only was he able to overcome her dampening, well, I guess she's more suppressing his fire than dampening it, right? I thought she was second generation before, but it's third, and she's actually using her heat to kind of overpower his, right? And so not only did he overcome that, but he withstood her most powerful ability, which I'm guessing is what that was. He withstood her most powerful ability. And then third, he punched her, and that was the end of the fight. It was a very, very underwhelming, right? I imagine that in the rankings, captains are, not only do they have amazing abilities, but they're also far more experienced than rookies would be, right? They're more well-trained than rookies would be. So and in her instance, and maybe many of the others, because of the training and experience they have, and in addition to that, she's mainly focused on research and stuff like that. I imagine she's a lot more intelligent than most of the other captains are. She's smarter. So none of that lent itself to this fight, right? He overpowered her, and even without flames, let's say neither of them had any flames to use, I would still expect a captain to kick a rookie's ass, because you're a captain and you're a trained captain. you have the experience of years, and in her case again, I imagine she's more intelligent than he is, and I didn't see any of that on display here, so it kind of throws the whole power scale out the window for the anime, and says a rookie can just defeat a captain that easily. I mean, before I was wondering whether or not Obi could even go up against another captain and actually win because he's normal. But given what the outcome of this battle was, he can probably take on a few captains himself, because you don't need much to actually win against one except sheer willpower. And again, I've seen several shonen anime, so I know it happens eventually, but usually it happens later on, when the protagonist has leveled up a bit. This is only the 6th episode of the first season. It's too early. It's too early for that, right? And I mean, we've only been introduced to one other captain so far, and my theory was that, given the ranking, that the first captain that we saw, and Obi being at the other end of the scale, and him being in the 8th company without any abilities, I figured the first company was the captain of the first company was the most powerful, and the 8th the weakest. And if that's the case, then Hibana would be somewhere in the middle almost, right? Which would make her pretty powerful, right? And for her to lose to a rookie just like that, and again, it's not just the flames, it's losing with just one punch. So I don't know, that took away from the episode for me. I enjoyed the rest of it, the backstory with Hibana and Iris, and what happened at the chapel, and her other sisters that got burned, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. But the fight was very underwhelming. It was very underwhelming, and it, to be honest, it took away from the episode for me. I imagine though that I don't know, I figured perhaps whether either the church or Hajime Industries, whoever it is that's pulling the strings in the background, actually killed the other sisters, potentially to have her come to them, right? If that is the case though, I'm not sure why they didn't kill Iris, right? Unless there's something special about Iris that she just has not discovered as yet, which I think might very well be the case. So I'm interested to see how that develops later on. But for now, I suppose they have an ally in Hibana now, and they're gonna need it. I mean, that's one out of the 7 that they're investigating, and I don't imagine all the other captains will be as easy to overcome, and hopefully not as easy to defeat as Hibana has been in this episode. And again, I'm not talking trash about Hibana. I actually love her here because I didn't realize she was as powerful as she is, so I actually love her in this episode. It's just weird that they would just have a captain lose to a rookie that easily, right? But she was fantastic, and she's easily becoming one of my favorite characters the more I see of her. But I don't see the other captains falling as easily as, or being as willing to join sides with Obi on this. I mean, a lot of them must be profiting from whatever corruption is happening there. I do want to know though whether she does actually know the truth, because I assume that the whoever's in control killed her sisters, but she assumed that they just randomly died all together at the same time. That's a hell of a coincidence. So I don't think that's what happened, and who knows, perhaps later that will come back, and that's something that we will explore again later on, as she becomes an ally of theirs, because the 8th company is pretty small, and they're not very powerful in my mind, right? Even with Shinra and Arthur on their sides, they're not very powerful in my mind, so they are going to need all the help they can get. I'm not quite sure what research that's coming out of this will be beneficial to them, but we'll see. We'll see next episode, because Obi was missing from this entire thing, and this was his plan. So I want to see what his next move is, what's his next step. So yeah, it was a very brief episode. I enjoyed the Hibana's abilities for the most part. I enjoyed the flashback. flesh out her character a bit more. And because they've done that, I imagine she'll be sticking around for quite some time along with Iris. But again, the one takeaway was just the battle itself just fell apart for me right at the end. But overall, enjoyed the episode. Still want to see more, explore the other characters, see the other captains, the other companies. So still very much looking forward to that. Alright guys, be sure to post down below, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Hit like or subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.